Hey, Bulldog fans! Welcome to Inside the Huddle, the podcast that brings you the heart and soul of Rolla Bulldog High School sports. Action. All right, welcome to Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Romo Athletics and powered by your title sponsor, Phelps County Bank. They are 100% employee-owned. They're 100% community champions. They are bankers by day. You know what they are by night?
Supporters.
They're Bulldog fans. You darn right they are. So here we are. This is season 3. This is episode 87. This is a Home Sweet Mo Property Spotlight edition because while Cabby has been a coach in his past, he is not in that role now, and this is a spotlight because we got Mark Caballero, retiring athletic director, and he's going to be joining us and talking about his time here at Rolla and then what's next. Cabby, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I tell you, it's been kind of crazy to think it's 9 years.
9 years.
And I'm like, wow, it seems like it was just yesterday that,
Absolutely.
kind of met you coming in. And it's been a great time. Before we get on that, let's go back to how it all started with you. Mm-hmm. So I go back and let's take a look at this. You played football at Northern Iowa.
Yes.
One of the Panthers up there.
Yeah. Yep. Went up there, and my last playing year was in 1985. So it was a great career, and that's when I started coaching, and I became like a student assistant GA type. And then a few years after that, when I got a chance to go make some money and do all that, went out to Garden City Community College and coached out there for a couple of years, 3 years, and then went to Idaho State. Then we were there for about 6 years, and then we moved back to the Midwest, to Western Illinois University. We were there for a couple of years, and then we moved down to SMS, which is now Missouri State.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got the opportunity to go to Ozark High School. And I really wasn't ready for a change at that time because my kids were getting at that point now where, I was going to miss quite a bit.
Yeah.
Being a college coach, that's the thing you sacrifice a lot, is a lot of family things. And I think that was one of the big driving forces. I had some good friends of mine that I had at church, and they were asking me, how do you juggle it all? How do you do it and still feel like you're a husband and a father? That weighed on me a while. Believe me, that's kind of a low blow. Yeah. That was something I'll never forget when we made that decision to go to high school, and I never regretted it one bit.
So you spent 20 years as an athletic director. So you went into Ozark, you're coaching, you're teaching. Like you said, it's a great spot to raise your kids. And then you have an opportunity to get into the athletic director. Mm-hmm. Was that something that you had envisioned when you got there? Or were you still just thinking, hey, I'm spending family time, I'm coaching, I'm this. I wasn't really thinking about going to the athletic director role.
Well, I had got my master's degree in sports management.
Okay.
So I thought someday down the road, if I ever was going to get into public ed, that'd be a natural transition. Mm-hmm. But some of the things that really drew me to Ozark was the commitment that they had to their sports programs and to their education, and a community that yearned for that. Yeah. So that was something that really was a big part of my decision to go there. And once we got in there and we seen how big it was, and the opportunity to get even bigger, it was really exciting.
So then you went from Ozark to Jefferson City.
Yes.
And at that point, Jefferson City is one of the largest schools in the state.
Yes.
Massive. And again, another winning program with
Right.
what they had done historically through there. And then you spent, was it 7 years there or something like that?
4 years.
4 years?
That's 4 years. Okay. But long story short, I looked at that opportunity, went up there twice and interviewed. I was intrigued by that because it was the largest or the second largest high school in the state of Missouri. We did end up moving up there, got the job, and 4 years was in a lot of transition up there because when I just accepted the job, they had lost the vote was a horrible defeat to build another high school. And then they ran it again within 2 years when I was there, and then it passed. Okay. And then a lot of things were changing. The infrastructure was changing, and I didn't think that was as good because I wanted to go up into that one high school town. And then I heard of the opportunity to come to Rolla, and I knew a few people here. So that was, a fun interview, an interview that I think I was searching as much as they were because, I think in their mind they were thinking, well, why would he want to come from Jeff City to Rolla? And I'm thinking, like, you don't understand how good you got it. Yeah. I thought here's a diamond in the rough. Here's a place that if they would embrace it It could be ever good as we could make the academic wheel as strong or stronger, because using the platform of athletics and activities to bolster that.
Yeah.
And look at it, so many of our student athletes, like your son, 4.0 valedictorian. I mean, holy cow. We got so many good kids that do so many great things in our activities programs. And I think sometimes the academic community feels threatened by it. And it's too bad, because I really think, especially with my background in working at colleges and universities, you have to embrace both if you want anything to have an energy on campus.
Yeah, and I think that's been my challenge here as well, is to recognize that you can have both.
Yes.
They don't have to be mutually exclusive. And historically, like Dr. Zalas was a former coach and a player, and we had a staff that you try and embrace that. Like we want the student athletes. That's what this school was all about, was having both, and that's why it's an activity director and not just an athletic director.
And I truly believe that, because the kids that are really looked up to are the kids that are in the activities programs, from marching band to drama to speech and debate to all the way to all the sports programs, boys basketball, girls basketball, wrestling. We had so many positive things in the 9 years we did here. I just look back, I just can't believe it's gone this fast. It feels like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I can't believe it either. So you come in as athletic director, and the very first thing is, we're adding 7th grade sports.
Yes.
So again, we're crazy that we were a class 5 school. We weren't quite 6 yet. We're back and forth, 4 and 5, depending on what sport, and we had no 7th grade sports.
Yeah, and that's a real challenge. When you don't have that infrastructure all the way down, then you're the travel teams, your city rec departments, Sir basketball. Night soccer, all those take that place, and you want to have that be coexisting with what you have at the high school and junior high programs. And I had just gone through that, because when I was at Jeff City, they didn't have junior high sports at the 7th grade level, and so we brought that in. And then the biggest piece was how that social integration works, how that all works, because kids that learn how to work within teams and organizations understand the dynamic of why my behavior in the classroom is important, why I need to be a good student, a good citizen in the classroom, or a good teammate. So those type of things, you're spot on there, Tom.
So now let's look at some of the other things that happened during your time. Of course, one of the more recent ones was the field house. You got the expansion. We got the new gym, field house. We stayed in the other one for a long time. That's one of the big things. What are some of the other things that, since your time here, that you look back on?
I think that vote that Dr. Zalas led, that in our community, our leaders, and all that within our educational system and our community. When we went out to vote, you got to think of the timing of all this was all going on, and then COVID comes in, and you're going like, what's going on? And the community still supported that vote, to build on and to make a new gymnasium in the field house, storm shelter, fine arts auditorium, and band and choir. We're going to have great areas to learn. I remember going into the choir room and the band room and watching what these guys were doing was those guys, Slowinski and those guys, I tell you what, they're awesome. But I tell you what, they were trying to do in a small, minimal space for so long. And now to see them, what they got is it really made my heart feel good, because John is an icon. He will be very much so here in Rolla High School history. But something that Dr. Zalas used to always say, he goes, just don't bring me your problems, bring me some solutions. So one of them for me was, how do I create some revenue in a community that is so giving but not taxing them so much, And one of them was, I thought, to get a beverage contract here. We struck gold there. And, by selling one of the products or products from a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi, we had gone with Coke, but it gave us the opportunity to create a revenue stream that would help offset the school district in projects that we wanted to do to help our activities programs get better, right? And that was my whole motivation of that. And it was a good thing, because, and it's still a good thing, it's got a lot better. And so it's one of those things that the partnership and the agreement that we have with Coca-Cola is, it's very fixated around education, and not only helping out in serving products, but they have a customer service that's better than anybody. And then you look at some of the things that we've been able to do with, we partnered with Daktronics when we did the vision board and the boards and the scoreboards in the new facilities. And the field house looks unbelievable because the scores table that lights up and plays the video, and it has it's not all pixelated. It looks really great, right? And then you got the big vision screen up there that can display any ad, any feature that you want to do, score panels and all that. Then across the gym, you got the other Daktronics board that you get to see the score stat panels on all the kids. And so that really was a good thing. And it's got state-of-the-art technology in it. So we can do a lot of things. We have done a lot of things from all the athletic events that you go on. We've had band concerts in there. We've had big assemblies in there. We've had our big back-to-school meetings in there. So, I mean, there's a lot.
Wrestling in there.
Wrestling in there.
The youth wrestling that swamped out everything. That was a crazy event in there.
Yeah. You know, someday I hope, for the sake of further development, I would love to see another competitive gym.
Yeah, we only have it's the only full-size hardwood gym we have is there. We have the junior high with the smaller gym.
Right, but like when I got here, getting our outside fields put on a rotation for taking care of them. For example, softball, every other year, dirt, Duramax, that conditioner, laser grading, adding, taking away, that stuff hadn't been done on a regular cycle. So that means your players are not playing on a safe area as kids. And that was the same way with soccer. It was the same way with baseball, and having impact testing done on the turf field. That stuff you have to be able to say, yeah, we're doing it because of the liability reasons.
Yeah. And one of the things you talked about when you came on, you were talking about, hey, really need to get a weight program over the junior high. And part of the whole building expansion that went on was just that. And now we have that program over there.
Absolutely. That was something we were trying to get to early. I think some of it was a lack of understanding what would that be like, how would it look like. We brought that in when I was at Ozark at junior high weights. And it was a huge success. And it wasn't about how much weight they were lifting. It was introducing them to a safety technique or the orientation of it, and making sure the kids were getting taught, this is what you're going to have to do to be a better athlete, a better person. If you're in your health, fitness, everybody today is looking at that. And so, we brought that in, and it really yielded benefits because now our kids were faster. They were stronger. They could post up and hold their own instead of getting shoved all over the court or on the football field or even soccer. The school district did an awesome job of supporting us, but also our booster club did too. Our booster club, Doug James and his leadership within the booster club, and all the people that he had on his board there were unbelievable. Those guys are just rolling. That it takes vision and getting everybody to see the vision of what the school district needs. It's easy to buy pizza, milk, juices, candy, but that's not making us better. New facilities, helping partnerships in facilities, that makes us better. Wherever the school district can't do, if we can come in there and contribute, that always helps. And I think for people that give money to the program in the Booster Club, when they can see real things happening, the weight room was one, then junior high weight room happened, and then you start seeing scoreboards go up, and you start seeing bigger things happening, and it's impacting their kids. Then they're thinking, well, there's something to this. And so it grew, and we grew that program with a lot of good people, as you know, with your wife, Jenny, being on the board, a treasurer. And there's been so many people there. Mike Fisher, his leadership now with being president of the board. Amy Lewis was this past year. and Doug James for so many years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Doug had been involved in the Booster Club. Doug is another icon of Rolla Bulldog sports. He's a Bulldog through and through. And you got to give a shout out to Tracy, his wife, because all the stuff that Doug was gone for, was much appreciated. But, we had so many things. I remember the Klausners were so big in helping us out. Shelley had been on the board for like over a decade, I think, with all the kids that they had.
Exactly.
So there's a commitment there, just like what you've done with Serve Basketball. It's a commitment of time. And I'll never forget, listening to John Maxwell talk one time, and he says, if you want to build momentum, you got to have people stay, and they're got to be committed to your vision. And I think this community will rally around it, and it sure did. Like Heidi Kolench took under her wing the golf tournament. Man, she knocked it through the park. And that money goes to all the athletic programs, and so that's nice. The lighting project, the new LED lights in all the stadiums here, from football, soccer to baseball to softball, will all be done. Track. That's going to have to go on that 10-year project. Softball, baseball, that complex, I took that one a little hard. I really wanted that one before I left. Like I wanted to get our school back in a conference. There was two things I really wanted to happen there. One of them happened, the two, but to get into conference back in the Ozark Conference was, I owe Dr. Dare big thank you for that, and the board for letting us get back in there, and him leading a lot of that with the superintendents. Where I led was at the AD level, and getting us back at the table and meeting and having some good conversations, some hard conversations, but some good conversations for future growth and future development of the Ozark Conference as we know it now. But those type of things we can. Now, baseball, softball field, I think a turf field would be great because it's another multi-purpose sport area. But just because they said no, not now, doesn't mean it won't be for the future.
Right.
So in currently where the baseball field sits, it's in a retention area, and so a lot of money would have to be pulled and poured into that project for drainage, sewer. I mean, there's a lot more than going on there, because if you try to put turf in there, it'd float away. I mean, that water that's running down there. And with the addition to the west side of the high school here, with the field house, all the fine arts, all that area, that's a big space. That field house and fine arts area, all the way up to the tornado shelter and the auditorium, that's bigger than some high schools in the state of Missouri. And that water runoff has contributed to some of the issues that they're looking at. And they have recognized that as an issue. If they're ever going to make the facilities down below better, they have to deal with the drainage first. So it'd be crazy of us to throw any money out the window at buying surface stuff when it really needs to be below the surface, that you're fixing the drainage and all that. But hopefully they'll get that done.
Yeah, I was going to say, so if you went back and looked and said, what are those things that are left undone, or things that's the one, that's the big
That's
thing
probably the one I would say it stung me a little bit, just because I really wanted that. Maybe I wanted it for too much of the wrong reasons, but I just thought for the kids to be at a class 5 and class 6 school, to have that ability to be able to not have as many rainouts, and our kids have the opportunity to get better from the first day of spring practice, instead of always having to be in a small gym that only has one batting cage. And now we got a second batting cage, so we got a little better there. But if we can get onto a surface, whether it's softball, baseball, I mean, heck, your PE classes could go out there, soccer could go out there. There's just so much can be there. Band could be on it. I think a second gym would be really neat too, because of the development. Right now, our kids, like at the junior high, it's so hard down there. They need another functional gym. Having boys come in or girls come in at 5:45 or at 6 o'clock in the morning in the winter, just to be able to practice, because there's only really one gym, and you've gone through that, Tom,
a lot of kids
with all your boys
there,
through there. And you look at it, you're thinking, well, we just have to do what we have to do. I mean, if we're going to have sports, and we only have these certain facilities, here's the challenges. Now, do you let the challenges cripple you, or do you thrive in them? Well, we've learned to go in the morning before school and after school. And it's the same thing we do here with wrestling. Marty's done a tremendous job with that, of growing that program. a program that usually if it doesn't have a lot of impact, it's just a lot of rolling. There's not a lot of, if you don't have a lot of success, then the program don't go. Well, the program has success, and Marty's built that thing up into a champion. So there's a lot of good things there.
Yeah, and that's the cold hard truth. It does take money to get things produced, done, provide.
Absolutely.
And it's not maybe as simple as when we were young and what it took now to have those things go on, and everything's just a lot more advanced. And with us not having the conference, the travel extends up. So how much more important is the level of competition, the size of school we are. Everything changes kind of going forward.
Well, absolutely. I mean, like you alluded to this earlier, was, here we are, a big school in a small area, and we're isolated. You're 112 to Springfield or St. Louis, either way, really, basically. And the next door neighbor, Waynesville, is 30 miles down the road, and they got their own little thing with the government there with all the funding they get. We don't get that. But, you got to still do what you can with what you got, And so I think a lot of the benefits of being a large school or a large town in a small, remote, rural area like us is that you got a captive audience. Your community will support it. And our partners, our shareholders, man, they've been unbelievable. To see as much support. I got to give a shout out to the ladies at the chamber. Those ladies knock it through the park. Stevie and those guys are just rocking it. And, when I first came here, I had no idea everybody was talking to me about Bulldog Pride Night. And I'm thinking, I can't wait to see this. It sounds like a neat thing. And I didn't understand what it really was until I was there. And I'm going the enormity of that. And I'm going like, holy cow, this is like a game day major college university setting. And your community is there. The energy was there right before the game. And you're going like, man, does it get better than this? And I'm thinking like, this is great. And Shannon, will be my successor, and Shannon will do a great job with it. He and Charlie's going to replace him. So
it's going to be
we got some good things coming up.
Oh, we do. It's going to be great to see that extended. Let me jump on the sponsors real quick. Appreciate them. We got Phelps County Bank, our title sponsor. They've been doing this they do so much for our community and for the sports programs and all the youth programs. So appreciate them jumping on board. This is a Home Sweet Mo Property Spotlight Edition. Thanks to Danielle and Jared Jordan. Again, Chanson got, third in state this year, I believe, in golf. So they've been big supporters of the program and kids coming through.
Third or fourth.
Yeah, and other kids are coming in. Yeah, and so it's just an exciting time for all of that. Taylor Chrysler, they are our Coach Talk edition, so all of our Coach Talk episodes of Inside the Huddle. Appreciate that. Jeremy Shelton over there. Juan Skills Academy, his facility is going to be coming online here in a couple weeks, maybe a week and a half. Kind of excited about that. Kobe Juan's two-time All-State player, does Juan Skills Academy. Now he'll have the Juan Sports Complex. Wow. So looking forward to that. 2 gyms inside there, volleyball setups and basketball setups. So it's going to be a great opportunity. Jackie Mrazowitz in full bloom. Appreciate everything she does with all of her decor. She's sponsored a lot of the senior activities and senior signings. So she's been great on that. Her son Jack will be going to S&T to play 2 sports. And RJ Pest Control, new sponsor that came online, 30 years of experience within them and their pest control business, so appreciate them. All right, so let's talk a little bit about thinking back on your time, your 9 years here. Do you have something that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this happened, it was real funny? And
I'll never forget how like you brought up the old gym, the atmosphere of the old gym, and the kids would just, that energy that the student section that they would generate with the 6th man. Oh, that was unbelievable. It's hard to duplicate that. And the sweat that was coming off of people, and I'm looking at them, I'm going like, man, this is hot in here. And everything got hot in there, whether it was an assembly or back to school moment.
Oh, everything.
Everybody was drenching, but nobody would really say it. It's just like, we got to get some air conditioning. But there's just been a lot of little things as you go through it, like trying to make sure all our scoreboards work all the time. Well, that's why we've tried to change so many because they were so old,
Yeah. Oh my. Oh yeah. Trying to
reset those things during a competition.
At timeout, we're like going. Are we all matched up? Go.
We're trying to jiggle the wires to make sure there's a little current that can light that board up. But it's stuff that a lot of school districts go through, and but it makes you appreciate more when you do have it. because the voters and our community people that support our schools and pay their taxes and help us out in so many ways. That's how we get things done.
Well, I'm really glad you didn't bring up the moment when we first had a really in-depth conversation, and it was about one of my SIR coaches bringing their pet animal into the gym.
Oh, yeah.
And I got the video with
Oh,
that picture. So a lot of stuff, 9 years here. What are you going to miss most about the Rolla High School and your role here?
The people, the people make it, every job, if you're doing it right. The great thing about my job, Tom, is that I not only work with people in building, I get to work with our people in our community. Yeah. And that's probably one of my stronger areas, is bridging that and embracing that from our booster club all the way to our chamber. But that's what I really enjoy, is getting to know people, working with people, helping them realize their impact. Yeah. There's so many things there that we do really well. Yeah. And so, the people I'll miss, but also, the friendships I've made, and it's the thing about working with the people you work with, like with Corey and Lori, Shannon, and all the principals here. You get to know them really well, and they're more than just coworkers, or they become friends, allies, and you really, when you're spending that much time with each other, you get to know a lot of them. In my 20 years or almost 20 years of being AD, would I do it all over again? You bet. I love it. My wife, Jane, of 40 years, she's wondering what am I going to do next, because I'll bug her if I'm at home too much. She won't be able to handle Mark.
Well, I tell you what, that's going right into my next stuff for you. Yeah. So you're going to Arizona.
Going to Arizona. Yeah. We leave. We close on our house at PCB. Yeah. So we'll be out there I'd say by the 9th or 10th.
And you already got your place out there.
Yeah, already got our place out there. We'll be living at Apache Junction there. My dad's 15 minutes away from me, and I look forward to spending a lot of time with him. And I have my sister that lives out there, and I have a brother that lives in San Diego. Superstition Mountains right there.
Yeah.
So you get to wake up to that every morning now. So that'll be kind of nice.
So hobbies out there. I mean, you're going to golf? What else are you going to be doing?
I love to golf. I love to get on a side-by-side, where Jane loves to do that too. So I think we'll be getting one of those. But I love to golf. I love to hike. I got into hiking out there. There's so many nice natural parks, national parks to go to. And with all that BLM ground out there, you can go anywhere out there. It seems like you can just go hike. I feel like like a Boy Scout. Again, you just go out in that frontier and check it out and do some fishing, maybe a little hunting. We'll see. See what happens.
That's good. 2 years ago, you got Shannon. You brought him on as an assistant?
Assistant. He's our junior IAD.
And that was the first time we'd had an assistant?
Yeah, it's very important. With Shannon at the junior high, I mean, it was a home run from the first day he walked on our campus. I knew it. And his wife, Tori, is another home run. I mean, they're a great combination. But having Shannon up here at the high school now, I got to watch him for 2 years. He poured himself into it, and that's what it takes. It takes a person that is very focused on what they do, and they know how to get within themselves and others to get things done. But he understood from a coach's responsibility what it looks like, but also too as an educator and as an administrator. And he got his credentials. He's already got his CAA done. I'm sure he'll work on his master's part of that coming up in the next couple of years. But he's done such a great job of growing himself, the professional development that we've gone to together. He's not afraid to ask questions. It's fun to watch him now working with other ADs throughout the state of Missouri. He's going to be a leader, and that's what it really takes out of that spot. And so he'll be leading and representing Rolla, and he'll be a great one. And Charlie Parker is going to be replacing. So Charlie will be growing in a lot of ways too. That he probably knows some of them, but as he goes through it as an AD, then he'll put on that other hat. But Charlie will be another great addition too, because he is a very team-oriented person, like Shannon. Very unselfish. He is a person that is here for the kids for all the right reasons. He understands the educational wheel and how that is our foremost thing, why we're here. And both of them understand the priority of having an educational-based program. So, because you get it the other way, it gets lopsided quick. And my previous school that I came in it got lopsided quick a lot of times, and you got to flip it over because these 4 years that these kids are here, the friendships that they have, the relationships that they're forging for the future, and their personal growth is what lead them into being leaders in their community, leaders in their marriage, help them be a better person, a better teammate. So there's so many ways, that you can grow. I mean, I look at what Patrick Brooks did with speech and debate. Wow. I mean, all I say is wow on that one, because he has taken that program from here to here. And I mean, you got to celebrate those things. And, talked about his son earlier at graduation with Isaac. That kid,
they would talk about, he would come in and like just into things with them and just like be hanging out there.
Absolutely.
And so he grew up just doing it, debating, and I mean, no paper. I mean, he just, it was all in his head. He just let out the cues, the timing. It was there. And I've had so many people kind of reach out to me that also watched it online.
Yes.
And talked about how powerful that was. But yeah, that's all because you have people that care about what they do.
Absolutely.
Here, the teachers, the coaches, bringing that and then making it where it's an environment. And I mean, we talk about all these senior signings we've had here. And I think about Mr. Reinhardt being here.
Yes.
No longer a coach, strictly a history teacher, and he's retiring this year as well. But he had such an impact on so many of those kids coming through the program, first in the junior high, then into high school, that they all still have this thing, and he's showing up he's at the graduation parties, and he makes it sure to be an effort to get there, and that's the impact.
Absolutely.
That ripples through that, my kids all still talk about Mr. Reinhardt. He shows up at the graduate party, and there's Zach talking to him.
It's like, those are the moments I think you reflect back on. This will be our 14th move.
Wow.
When we go to Arizona.
Wow.
And, I always looked as life as a journey. You never know where your path is going to take you. And luckily, I have a wife like Jane that has been very gracious and very accepting of that.
Yeah, you are lucky. You are really lucky.
But, I look at it, I'm going like, man, you think about the little things, the little opportunities you have, I call them little deposits. You get to put little deposits in every kid's life, positive deposits, challenges, helping them set goals, helping them meet those goals, getting them to be better than they normally would be by themselves. And that's the spot on of a leader that helps you raise that level of influence. It's fun to see the impact that you never know exactly what you've done to somebody or what you've contributed into that until they tell you. And that's when it really comes full circle for you. But it's really been fun here. I've really enjoyed it here. It's been a great community. Jane's really enjoyed it. I think I've enjoyed every spot on the destination, but also too, I believe that God had to handle it. So I don't think we've made a bad move. Some of those moves have just been different. And so I really think that the people I've worked with have really been really good. I've got to work with some phenomenal coaches that are Hall of Fame coaches. I've got to work with some athletes that have put themselves in NFL or NBA or major leagues. It's been fun. Those are the kind of things, those memories you have, but then you remember all the other ones, all the other kids. They're pros in their own right, because the way they're going through life right now. Their husbands, their mothers, their wives, it's just, there's so much there. They're leaders in their community, or they're managers of a bank, or they're dentists or doctors now, or they have their own business, their auto body business. It's just been so good, but there's so much to be appreciative for and thankful for that what we have here at Rolla. And I think, as I sum it up all in one word or two words, bulldog pride. And there's so much to it. And as I sign off, I think that I've just been lucky to be a part of it.
That's great. So one last question. Who's more excited about the retirement, you or Jane?
Oh, Jane is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm going to ask Jane too.
I think
you're going to be there full time with her. Jane, come on now.
I think Jane is, but Mark's got to find a little part-time something. It might grow into a full-time gig, but who
But yeah,
knows?
because I was thinking about all those years, all the moves, all the things you've done, and the nights that you're involved in everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, and she's been a trooper, and your kids too come to visit, and then they're hanging out the events with you.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Yeah.
down there at the baseball field
Yeah.
together, and it's so kind of cool to see that they're able to embrace it because that has been the lifestyle. They've supported you on that lifestyle, and they've chosen to be part of that lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
going back to that first question, you know, you had back when you were at Missouri State, and it said, "Hey, how do you do it all?" Right?
Yeah.
And I guess you answered it that way
Sure.
by choosing a different path.
Sure. And you know, and that's I never saw myself not coaching college football, but I think God has a funny way of bringing things into your life and people, and with that came some changes, and I'm glad I did because I got to meet and do some things that were really, really cool. Yeah.
All right, Cabby. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I want to thank Phelps County Bank for again being the title sponsor, Home Sweet Mo Properties for being the Spotlight Edition sponsor. Cabby, appreciate everything, man. It's been a lot of
thank
fun. Man, we've had a lot of fun together, going through seen a lot here.
Yeah, it has.
Kids have all kind of been through here while you were here. Man, appreciate everything.
Appreciate
Wish you nothing but the best going forward.
Thanks.
All right, so for Mark Caballero, for Cabby, I'm Tom Brown from Inside the Huddle of the Heart of the Game. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, my man.
buddy. Thanks,
Appreciate you. You bet.